Biography of Sikhs' 10th Guru. Guru Gobind Singh jee, 1667–1708. Full name Gobind Rai. Personal details. Birth Friday, January 5, 1667 in Patna, Bihar, India. Guruship 1675–1708. Jati Jat Thursday the 21st of October. 1708 at Nanded family parents, Guru Teg Bahadur and Mata Gujri brother, sisters, N. A spouse, Mata Jito, Mata Sundri, and Mata Sahib Kaur. Children, Zorawar Singh, Ajit Singh, Juja Singh. Fateh Singh. Other details. Bani in GGS. Recomposed the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji at Damdama Sahib in 1706. Other info. Wrote Dasam Granth and Sarablo Granth. Creation of Khalsa Panth. Fought wars of defense for righteousness. Guru Gobind Singh Jee, Gurmukhi. Guru Gobindasaya, January 5. 16671. The 21st of October 1708, born, Gobind Rai, at Patna Sahib, Bihar, India, was the 10th and last of the human form gurus of Sikhism. He became guru on November 24, 1675 at the age of 9, following the martyrdom of his father, the 9th Guru, Guru Teg Bahadur Ji. A divine messenger, a warrior, a poet, and a philosopher, Guru Gobind Singh Jee molded the Sikh religion into its present shape. With the institution of the Khalsa fraternity, and the completion of the sacred scripture, the Guru Granth Sahib Ji, in the final form that we find today. Before leaving his mortal body in 1708, Guru Gobind Singh decreed the Guru Granth Sahib Ji as the next and perpetual Guru of the Sikhs. It may not be out of context to consider that throughout the chronicles of human history, there has been no individual who lived a life more inspirational than Guru Gobind Singh Ji. He is variously revered as Sarabans Dani, the merciful donor, who sacrificed his all, Marda Gamra, man without any parallels, Shah-e Shahenshah, emperor of emperors, Bar du Alam Shah, ruler of both worlds, amongst others, if we consider the work which Guru Gobind Singh accomplished, both in reforming his religion and instituting a new code of law for his followers, his personal bravery under all circumstances, his persevering endurance amidst difficulties, which would have disheartened others and overwhelmed them in inextricable distress. And lastly, his final victory over his powerful enemies by the very men who had previously forsaken him. We need not be surprised that the Sikhs venerate his memory. He was undoubtedly a great man. W.L. MacGregor. It is said that after the martyrdom of his father, Guru Teg Bahadur, the 10th master declared that he would create such a Panth community, society, which would challenge the tyrant rulers in every walk of life to restore justice, equality and peace for all of mankind. Via institution of the Khalsa in 1699, Guru Gobind Singh Ji infused the dual spirit of a saint and a soldier in the minds and hearts of his followers to fight oppression in order to restore righteousness, dharma, and to uplift the downtrodden people in this world. As a prophet, the Guru is unique. His teachings are very scientific and most suitable for all times. Unlike many other prophets, he never called himself God or the only Son of God. Instead, he called all people the sons of God, sharing his kingdom equally. For himself he used the word, slave, or servant of God. Those who call me God, will fall into the deep pit of hell. Regard me as one of his slaves and have no doubt whatever about it. I am a servant of the Supreme Being, and have come to behold the wonderful drama of life. Extracts from Guru Gobind Singh's writings. God has no marks, no color, no caste, and no ancestors, no form, no complexion, no outline, no costume, and is indescribable. He is fearless, luminous, and measureless in might. He is the King of Kings, the Lord of the prophets. He is the sovereign of the universe, gods, men, and demons. The woods and dales sing the indescribable. O Lord, none can tell thy names. The wise count your blessings to coin your names. Yap Sahib, birth of Guru Gobind Singh, a splendid divine light shone in the darkness of the night. Per Bikin Shah, a Muslim mystic, performed his prayers in that easterly direction, instead of towards the west, contrary to his daily practice, and guided by this divine light. He traveled with a group of his followers until he reached Patna Sahib in Bihar. It was here that Gobind Rai was born to Mata Gujri in 1666. It is said that Pir Bikin Shah approached the child and offered 2 bowls of milk and water, signifying both the great religions of Hinduism and Islam. The child smiled and placed his hands on both bowls. The Pir bowed in utter humility and reverence to the new prophet of all humanity. Gobind Rai was born with a holy mission, of which he tells us in his autobiography, Bachatar Natak, Wondrous Drama. In it, Guruji tells us how and for what purpose he was sent into this world by God. He states that before he came into this world, as a free spirit, he was engaged in meditation in the 7-peaked Hemkunt mountain. Having merged with God and having become one with the unmanifest and the infinite, God commanded him, I have cherished thee as my son, and created thee to establish a religion and restrain the world from senseless acts. I stood up, folded my hands, bowed my head, and replied, Thy religion will prevail in all the world. When it has thy support, Guruji describes the purpose of his coming to this world and why he emerged from the supreme reality in human form to carry out his Creator's command. For this purpose was I born, let all virtuous people understand. I was born to advance righteousness, to emancipate the good, and to destroy all evil doers root and branch. Early life. Gobind Rai's father, Guru Teg Bahadur, the 9th Guru, was then traveling across Bengal and Assam. Returning to Patna in 1670, he directed his family to return to the Punjab. On the site of the house at Patna in which Gobind Rai was born and where he spent his early childhood now stands a sacred shrine, Sri Patna Sahib Gurdwara. Bihar. Gobind Rai was escorted to Anandpur, then known as Chak Nanaki, on the foothills of the Sivaliks, where he reached in March 1672 and where his early education included reading and writing of Punjabi, Braj, Sanskrit and Persian. He was barely 9 years of age when a sudden turn came in his life as well as in the life of the community he was destined to lead. Kashmiri Brahmins come to Anandpur early in 1675, a group of Kashmiri Brahmins under the leadership of Pandit Kirpa Ram. Mad in desperation by the religious fanaticism of the Mughals' general, Iftikhar Khan, he had threatened them with forced conversion to Islam, visited Anandpur to seek Guru Teg Bahadur's advice. Aurangzeb had ordered the forced conversion of all Hindus and thought that if the respected Kashmiri Brahmins accepted Islam, others in the country would be easily converted. They had been given 6 months to decide or suffer the consequences. Time was running out. As the Guru sat reflecting what to do, young Gobind Rai, arriving there in company with his playmates, asked why he looked so preoccupied. The father, as records Kuir Singh in his Gurbilas Patshahi 10, replied, Grave are the burdens the earth bears. She will be redeemed only if a truly worthy person comes forward to lay down his head. Distress will then be expunged and happiness ushered in. None could be worthier than you to make such a sacrifice," remarked Gobind Rai in his innocent manner. Guru Teg Bahadur advised the Brahmins to return to their village and tell the authorities that they would accept Islam if Guru Teg Bahadur could first be persuaded to do so. Father Guru's Martyrdom. Guru Gobind Singh. Main article, Martyrdom of Guru Teg Bahadur. Soon afterwards the Guru with a few followers proceeded to the imperial capital, Delhi. After watching the tortured deaths of 3 of his followers, he, as well, refused to convert and was beheaded on November 11, 1675. The 13-year-old Gobind Rai, ordained as the next Guru before his father departed Anandpur, was formally installed as Guru Gobind Singh on the Baisakhi day of March 1676. In the midst of his engagement with the concerns of the community, he gave attention to the mastery of physical skills and literary accomplishment. He had grown into a comely youth, spare, lithe of limb and energetic. He had a natural genius for poetic composition and his early years were assiduously given to this pursuit. The Var Shri Bhagati Ji Ki, popularly called Kandi Di Var, written in 1684, was his first composition and his only major work in the Punjabi language. The poem depicted the legendary contest between the gods and the demons as described in the Markandeya Purana. The choice of a warlike theme for this and a number of his later compositions, such as the 2 Kandi Charitras, mostly in Braj, was made to infuse martial spirit among his followers to prepare them to stand up against injustice and tyranny, for the first 20 years or so of his life. Guru Gobind Singh lived peacefully at Anandpur, practicing arms and exercises to complete his training as a soldier. He also studied Persian and Sanskrit and engaged 52 poets to translate the Hindu epics. Stories of ancient heroes were translated into Punjabi in order to create the martial spirit among the Sikhs. The Guru also wrote several compositions including Yap Sahib, Akal Ustat and Sawayas during this period. He also established a Gurdwara at Paonta Sahib on the banks of the river Jamna. Stay at Paonta Sahib. Much of Guru Gobind Singh's creative literary work was done at Paonta. He had founded on the banks of the river Yamuna and to which site he had temporarily shifted in April 1685. Poetry as such was, however, not his aim. For him it was a means of revealing the divine principle and concretizing a personal vision of the Supreme Being that had been vouchsafed to him. His Jap Sahib, Swayas and the composition known as Akal Ustat are in this tenor. Through his poetry he preached love and equality and a strictly ethical and moral code of conduct. He preached the worship of the one Supreme Being, deprecating idolatry and superstitious beliefs and observances. The glorification of the sword itself, which he eulogized as Bhagati, was to secure fulfillment of God's justice. The sword was never meant as a symbol of aggression, and it was never to be used for self-aggrandizement. It was the emblem of manliness and self-respect and was to be used only in self-defense, as a last resort. For Guru Gobind Singh said in a Persian couplet in his Zafarnama, "When all other means have failed, it is but lawful to take to the sword." Verse 22. File. Guru Gobind Singh jee martial training during his stay at Paonta. Guru Gobind Singh availed himself of his spare time to practice different forms of manly exercises, such as riding, swimming and archery. His increasing influence among the people and the martial exercises of his men excited the jealousy of the neighboring Rajput hill rulers who, led by Raja Fateh Chand of Garhwal, collected a host to attack him. But they were worsted in an action at Bangam, about 10 kilometers northeast of Paonta. in September 1688. Soon thereafter Guru Gobind Singh left Paonta Sahib and returned to Anandpur. The Guru and his Sikhs were involved in a battle with a Mughal commander, Olive Khan, at Nador on the left bank of the Beas, about 30 kilometers southeast of Kangra, in March 1691. Describing the battle in stirring verse in Bakaitra Natak, he said that Olive Khan fled in utter disarray, without being able to give any attention to his camp. Among several other battles that occurred was the Husain battle, the 20th of February 1696, fought against Husain Khan, an imperial general, which resulted in a decisive victory for the Sikhs. Following the appointment in 1694 of the liberal Prince Muazzam, later Emperor Bahadur Shah, as Viceroy of Northwestern region including Punjab, there was however a brief respite from pressure from the ruling authority. In Sambat 1756-1699 AD, Guru Gobind Singh issued directions to Sikh Sangats or communities in different parts not to acknowledge Massans, the local ministers, against whom he had heard complaints. He asked the Sikhs to send their offerings directly to Anandpur. Battle of Bangani. Main article. Battle of Bangani. The Guru admonished Hill Rajas including Raja Bhim Chand for giving their daughters to the Mughals as tribute for holding their positions. His efforts at winning their support against Aurangzeb bore no fruit. On the contrary, the Hill Rajas conspired with the Mughal armies to put down the power of Guru Gobind Singh. They however faced defeat several times at the hands of the comparatively small Sikh army. See www.info-sikh.com for more details. Battle of Nadan, Hussaini Yud. The Massans. The Guru received various complaints against the priests, Massans who robbed the poor Sikhs and misappropriated the collections. Guru Sahib abolished this order and severely punished the miscreants. Hereafter, the faithful were to bring their offerings directly to the Guru at the time of the annual Vaisakhi fair. The Guru wanted to create a strong self-respecting community. He inspired the Sikhs with courage and heroism and a life of simplicity and hard work. He started an arms factory at Anandpur in order to manufacture swords and lances needed for his soldiers. Once when the Brahmins insisted that he should offer worship to goddess Durga in order to seal victory, he agreed and kept up the farce till nothing came out of it. At the crucial moment, the Guru unsheathed his sword exclaiming, "The sword is the Durga which will give us victory over our enemies." Sikhs, he instructed, should come to Anandpur straight without any intermediaries. The Guru thus established direct relationship with his Sikhs. The institution of the Khalsa was given concrete form on the 30th of March 1699 when Sikhs had gathered at Anandpur in large numbers for the annual festival of Baisakhi. Creation of the Khalsa. The Amrit Sanskar ceremony and open Erdogan was held in Keskar Sahib at Anandpur. The Guru drew his sword and in a thundering voice said, "I want one head, is there anyone who can offer me?" This most unusual call caused some terror in the gathering and the people were stunned. There was dead silence. The Guru made a second call. Nobody came forward. There was still more silence. On the third call there raised Daya Ram, a Khatri of Lahore who said, "O true king, my head is at your service." The Guru took Daya Ram by the arm and led him inside a tent. A blow and thud were heard. Then the Guru, with his sword dripping with blood, came out and said, "I want another head, is there anyone who can offer?" Again on third call Dharam Das, a Jat from Delhi came forward and said, "O true king, my head is at thy disposal." The Guru took Dharam Das inside the tent. Again a blow and thud were heard, and he came out with his sword dripping with blood and repeated, "I want another head, is there any beloved Sikh who can offer it?" Upon this some people in the assembly remarked that the Guru had lost all reason and went to his mother to complain. Mokam Chand, a calico printer, tailor of Dwarka, west coast of India, offered himself as a sacrifice. The Guru took him inside the tent and went through the same process. When he came out, he made a call for the fourth head. The Sikhs began to think that he was going to kill all of them. Some of them ran away and the others hung their heads down in disbelief. Himmat Chand, a cook of Jagannath Puri, offered himself as a fourth sacrifice. Then the Guru made a fifth and the last call for a fifth head. Sahib Chand, a barber of Bidar in central India, came forward and the Guru took him inside the tent. A blow and thud were heard. The last time he stayed longer in the tent. People began to breathe with relief. They thought maybe the Guru has realized his mistake and has now stopped. The Panjpra main article, Panjpra. The Guru now clad his 5 volunteers in splendid garments. They had offered their heads to the Guru, and the Guru had now given them himself in his glory. When they were brought outside, they were in the most radiant form. There were exclamations of wonder and the sighs of regret on all sides. Now people were sorry for not offering their heads. Since the time of Guru Nanak, Sharan Powell had been the customary form of initiation. People were to drink the holy water which had been touched or washed by the Guru's toe or feet. The Guru proceeded to initiate them to his new order, Conde de Powell, by asking the 5 faithful Sikhs to stand up. He put pure water into an iron vessel or bowl, bata of sarblo, and stirred it with a khanda, 2-edged small sword. While stirring the water with khanda, he recited Gurbani, 5 Banis Japji, Yap Sahib, Anand Sahib, Swayas, and Chaupai. Sugar crystals called patasses, which incidentally the Guru's wife, Mata Sahib Kaur, had brought at that moment, were mixed in the water. Amrit Sanchar main article, Amrit Sanchar. The Guru then stood up with the sacred Amrit nectar prepared in the iron bowl. Each of the 5 faithful, by turn, each kneeling upon his left knee, looked up to the Master to receive the divine Amrit. He gave 5 palmfuls of Amrit to each of them to drink and sprinkled it 5 times in the eyes, asking them to repeat aloud with each sprinkle, Wahe Guru Ji Ka Khalsa. Wahe Guru Ji Ki Fateh. This means, Khalsa belongs to God and all triumph be to his name. Then he anointed with 5 sprinkles in the hair. In this way Amrit was administered to the 5 faithful from the same bowl. After that he asked them to sip Amrit from the same bowl to signify their initiation into the casteless fraternity of the Khalsa. All the 5 faithful were baptized in this way by the Guru, who then called them the Panjpra, or 5 beloved ones. He gave them the appellation of Singhs, lions, and they were named from Daya Ram to Daya Singh, Dharam Das to Dharam Singh, Mokam Chand to Mokam Singh, Himmat Chand to Himmat Singh, and Sahib Chand to Sahib Singh. The Guru then addressed them as the Supreme, the liberated ones, pure ones, and he called them the Khalsa.